on YouTube, which means make up with Stephanie.
We'll see. We're just going to grab something right off the top.
Ooh, that's Skip the Gym by Almay. I love this one. Really, I am happy with it. I wish you would have
Man,
picked
I've been making some good picks here.
I wish you
lately.
would have picked my red one, though, but you know what? It's fine.
What, is that why you had to qualify that?
What do you mean?
Well, because you were enthusiastic, and then because I said you've been there for a while. I was picking all your ones you don't like. The last few have been on our streak here.
I mean, I'm going to go that far with it, but national days. So I'm really bummed that I can only pick one.
See which one. I saw one today. I wonder if you're going to pick that.
Oh shoot. Okay, National Lazy Mom Day.
Yes, that's the one I was.
Yes,
National Lazy Mom Day. That's
right.
one. I did know that because that came across the deal.
September 5th is like the funnest day. Like it's a really fun day, and I can only pick one. Can I pick two?
One.
Two? Come on.
But then it's definitely one for Sunday. You can have two on Saturday.
Yes. Okay, September 5th, National Tailgating Day. Fun.
Yes. But where are you going to what event are you planning on tailgating?
I don't know.
Yes.
And then there's like 8 for tomorrow, or maybe 7. And then it's also National Be Late for Something Day. Are we going to be late for something? And then Sunday, September 6th is National Coffee Ice Cream Day.
Wow. I haven't had coffee ice cream in a long time, but I love it.
Really?
Oh, yes. Anything to do with coffee.
What does it taste like? Does it taste
like
just
coffee
like
ice
well,
No, it has the sweet taste. Probably I don't because I don't put any sweeteners in my coffee.
I don't either.
It
I
tastes
take mine straight black.
Yeah, it tastes kind of what I would imagine sweet or what people who put sugar in their coffee do. You get the coffee taste, but it's sweet.
Right. Well, you can enjoy coffee ice cream on Sunday. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Now we're going to head up on Facebook.
Tuning her in. There's that funky slide guitar music. Comes out every Monday through Friday, 11:05 on Facebook and YouTube. On that. And as we usually do at 5:30, we wind in the Mighty Met 1490 on that. On a Funky Friday!
You remembered I didn't. I remembered last second. What did I title it?
That, I don't know. What was it? It was only like, 10 minutes ago you came up with Funky Friday?
Probably. Was it even that long? I don't even think it was that long.
Or 5 minutes ago.
Maybe.
So we're on the, usually, and this is kind of, you brought it up on National Days, tomorrow is National Tailgating Day. What are you going to where are you going to go to tailgate?
You can tailgate in your backyard. Pretend like there's a football game, barbecue. These days you gotta use your imagination.
Most people can't get their pick-em-up trucks back in their backyard to do a tailgate party.
Then do it in the neighborhood, on your curb.
Hey, that's a great idea. Maybe have a street tailgate party.
Right? Can you do that?
Well, you're actually in a lot of cities. You have to get a permit to have a party in the street. Yeah.
Can you do anything anymore these days?
No, I told you they're taking the fun out. Anything that's deemed fun is out.
Well,
I mean, just look at California. We had it on. I think it was yesterday or was it Wednesday? Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, he was meeting with because they have some of the same, most of the same theme parks: Disneyland, SeaWorld. On and on and on because we're both on the coast and
right.
So he's keeping they've had at a limited capacity, but they've had most of their theme parks open all the time. I think maybe for a couple of weeks they had them shut down. But he asked them, well, hey, what's going on in California? They said basically nothing. We're pleading, and I think we've had the newspaper articles on. They've all been Universal Studios, Knott's, Disneyland, have all been begging Gavin Newsom or anybody, please open up. I mean, 6 months of being shut down, is a little ridiculous over this stuff. And why Florida is on that. And as we brought out on the report by Donald Lufskin, and I haven't been able to dig it up yet or haven't had time, but the Lancet, which is like the premier gold standard research site, peer-reviewed to the max site, came up with the same of Trend Macro's Donald Lufskin study, which said the lockdowns and quasi, I'm going to add in the mask wearing and stuff, basically did hardly anything, as most of our experts like Dr. Kelly Victory have said, but the overall, the consequences of people delaying medical treatments, the economic loss and, mental state suicides going up, everything else, it is causing far more damage to our society than any benefit we have derived from these COVID lockdowns and mask wearing and hysteria and everything else. So again, what is the purpose behind this? Again, if all of a sudden they waved a magic wand and masks became the do-all, beat-all, and I don't remember if we ran the video, I think we didn't, but I mean, if you either have an N95 mask is pretty good, according to the study, the blue ones that you put over your face are they say the bandana you put over your deal is almost nil. And if you've got a Felice one, it actually causes more harm or more spreading of the virus than you did. So all this that masks work and everything else, and we know one guy who, he's a respiratory therapist, and he's wearing the mask and stuff, and he got it working around the stuff. And, that's in a hospital environment and stuff. So as it was said in the beginning, the virus was going to do what it was going to do. And anything else, practically everybody now is saying that here you go. It doesn't matter what you have or anything on that. It's not going to make a big bit of difference. You can lock down, not lock down. As far as COVID-19 or coronavirus or probably any other virus, it's not going to make a hills bean a difference. Right. So what in the hell are we doing with this stuff? It drives me absolutely insane on this whole thing. Probably, a lot of that, I think
everyone's tired of hearing about it, though.
Yes, I get that. I mean, 3 months ago...
Tammy writes in that COVID is fake news.
Yes, I mean, 3 months ago you just said...
It's old news.
Yes, it's old news. I think 98.7% of the people are over it. And they've come to this realization that it's going to do what it's going to do. Like a few experts, like the ones we've highlighted, and how many brickbats did we take for saying that? Oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
You're killing everybody. Somebody I knew died from it, yada, yada, yada. Well, hundreds of thousands of people die every year of common flus, colds, and everything else every year, and we never went into a mass panic over it. And it's just part of the biological nature of things. It's, I don't know what else to make of all this stuff, but it really, 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 really is.
Edward writes in, insinuating that it's known to hurt businesses. And, Joseph writes in, which I found interesting. I wonder if this is true, that Walt.com says Disneyland is moving to Texas.
I wouldn't think they're moving the whole Disney. They might be building a new one in Texas, I would think. But I don't think they're closing down although, if they keep going at the rate they are, maybe they will close down the original Anaheim Disneyland over all this
Why would you say that?
nonsense.
Oh, yeah,
well,
they might.
just because I mean,
I want to go to Universal Studios. Is that open?
Well, no, that's what they're on the list too. That's what I see. They can't let them things sit there forever, because they're costing them money just to have them there. You still got to maintain all the facilities and everything else. They're costing these companies money, but they're getting absolutely no revenue in it all. So for the past 6 months, they've been losing who knows God off of millions, if not billions of dollars.
Right. Edward writes in, which I think you and a lot of others will agree, the Democrats want to kill Trump's economy.
It keeps looking like that more and more each and every day on that, because, I mean, what else? I mean, again, what is the whole thing behind this enchilada? I don't know, but I guess I would consider this good news. Michael Reinhold, which shot the Trump supporter Saturday night, I believe, up in Oregon. He was flip up 4, and he was gunned down by U.S. Marshals in Olympia, Washington. On that, remember, U.S. Marshals on that, not local law enforcement. But this here is from the Olympian. Portland shooting suspect armed, killed by task force near Lacey, was armed. Sheriff's office says. This is from the Olympic. Suspect in the fatal shooting of a right-wing activist. Didn't say Trump supporter. Again, look at if you are a Trump supporter, I guess, you're a Trump supporter. You like Trump. So you are now a right-wing activist.
I mean, it makes me kind of feel like I'm a bird. I don't really appreciate it.
But yeah, exactly. I wouldn't either.
I would, if I was a Trump supporter, I want to say that I was a Trump supporter, not a right-wing. What the hell does that even mean?
Exactly. The Olympian, and this is what I say, look at the nuances of this. The Olympian was doing news reporting on the story. It should read, the suspect in the fatal shooting of a Trump supporter in Portland, not the suspect in the fatal shooting of a right-wing activist in Portland. They were Trump supporters. They were marching peacefully. The Antifa people were throwing provoking stuff at them, on, and then it escalated into this. Further reading from this. When he was shot and killed by U.S. Marshals Task Force near Lacey Thursday evening, a lieutenant with the law enforcement agency investigating the shooting confirmed Friday. Thurston County Coroner Gary Warner confirmed Friday the deceased 48-year-old Michael Forrest Reinhold, who authorities say was a suspect in last weekend's fatal shooting in Oregon. Reinhold was armed with a semi-auto handgun when officers shot him Thursday with the Tangle Wild neighborhood outside Lacey. Thurston County Sheriff's Lieutenant Brady told the Olympian. Brady did not confirm whether Reinhold wielded or fired their weapon, as some witnesses reported. Information does not support witnesses' accounts that he was armed with a rifle, Brady said. The handgun was recovered from the scene and was the only firearm the suspect had, Brady confirmed. So, it appears another dirtbag piece of trash is no longer on the top side of the grass. Yes.
Man, they've just been taking a beating.
No, it's I
know, just with everything. I'm just saying in general, like, when are we going to get it together?
Well, because they got a dip brain mayor up there. I can't remember his name right now of that, but he's been letting all this stuff go, and now the Antifa protesters are turning on him. And now he's moving out of the city because of this. Because of the situation he's largely responsible for creating. No, they should, if there was any justice in the world, they should make that man sit right in the middle of Portland, Oregon, right in the middle of town square, where all the Antifa people or whomever can address this guy, because he's the one that let him do that. He's the one that backed the cops off. He's the one that would not let him bust up the protests 3 months ago or whenever it started on this. And now he wants to flee because they're getting on his case. I mean, you talk about hypocrite, which we will in a minute, Pelosi. I mean, this is the ultimate in hypocrisy and arrogance oh, I created the situation. When it gets out of hand or they're attacking me, I just leave.
Right. I don't know what's going on with the world. They need to go see, if they did more tailgating and more neighborhood community events, the world would probably be a happier place. Yeah. And if they were late for something.
There you go. But again, like I said, where are you going to tailgate?
I don't know. Well, now I wouldn't be tailgating anywhere in public because now I'm too scared to go anywhere in public, which is sad.
Yes, it's getting to that point.
It is. Honestly, I'm too scared to go anywhere. I don't even want to walk in my own neighborhood. It's scary.
And I've noticed that. I've noticed, especially since this whole COVID thing has started. And
No, because at first everybody was out walking everywhere. People were doing trails. People were like out, getting outdoor physical activity. It was a beautiful thing. And then now all these riots happen. Now everybody's hiding back inside.
Yeah, but look at they closed down the parks. Your neighborhood.
Yeah, but
parks.
I think that's probably why people were out walking. And
you're right. And I mean, then it got to this or whatever on the whole thing, and then the double lockdowns, I guess we should call them, in California, going on here, of doing this. It's really, 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 really disheartening to see what that. And then, like I say, that triggered me when you said National Tailgate Day tomorrow.
I knew you would appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic.
We can put a huge, plastic thing in the bed of your truck and make a giant pool. That'd be fun. I'll bring the pool noodles.
Like you said, maybe that's the only thing we can do is a tailgate party on the street. And that's why I kind of said that. Well, when you said, can you do that? I said, probably not. There's probably 27 million rules against it, and they'd probably be hauling those. If we did that, they'd probably be hauling us to jail for having a tailgate party on the street. That's how absurd our whole world is becoming. Don't you think so?
I totally agree. Sorry, I'm reading comments.
Oh, of that. But yeah, I think it's just.
Stacy writes in, I can't wait for them to open the racetracks and rodeos.
Anything at this point, you're getting down to anything. Can they go? And this is what's really ironic. You can play golf, regular golf, but you can't go by what is a Castle Park there in Riverside.
You can go mini golfing?
No.
Why?
Explain. I was hoping you would have an answer.
Well, no, I got excited. Like, hell yeah, I'm going mini golfing. Who wants to go? Who wants to go?
You'll be beating on the fence, outside while the gates are locked and nothing's there. There's an empty miniature golf course doing nothing,
collecting dust and leaves.
Yes. Explain that to me.
I can't. I want to. I can't.
I mean, it defies any scintilla of logic.
But then you can go to the drive-in and go see a drive-in movie with your family. But you can't go mini golfing?
Correct.
You can always sanitize
but you can go regular.
balls.
You can take them all out regular golfing to the golf course.
Okay. Maybe they're just against miniature things.
Oh, they're discriminating against the wee people?
Hey, I didn't say that.
Well, I guess they're not people. Or anything small. I guess we're discriminating against small.
Against mini.
There you go. Yes, against mini. Yep, there you go. Yeah, maybe we ought to start a class action lawsuit.
Andrew asked, what are you drinking?
In here? Coffee.
With a bunch of spices. He puts cinnamon, cayenne pepper.
Turmeric. Cinnamon.
It says cinnamon. That's where he gets his hair color.
And a whole host of other things that I can't pronounce.
Fiesta Village is open this weekend, Stacy writes in.
Wow. Where's Fiesta Village at?
Grand Terrace.
Oh, Grand Terrace?
I think so.
No, it's absolutely crazy of what we've turned this stuff into, back and forth, to and fro. Mentioning, and we did mention it earlier about the hypocrisy with all this other stuff, but the Salon owner from that owned the salon where Nancy Pelosi, who was getting her haircut and nails done and everything else, wearing no mask, private appointment when nobody else can get in there. The poor salon owner say has been closed for 6 months. Now people were all over the social media blaming her and that. She said, I'm probably done. She said, I was probably done anyway with 6 months with no income. I'm probably really done now. But then the next day after the video broke, then Nancy Pelosi said, oh, I thought everything was normal, but this was a setup. Nancy Pelosi, who's, I think, nephew or whatever is hair gel Governor Gavin Newsom. Nancy Pelosi, which has vilified Trump in no uncertain terms over the whole COVID mask, where you got to wear masks, you're killing everybody, and doing this whole BS campaign of trying to control everybody. Now she's claiming she didn't know the rules. Oh, I've been doing this before. I thought it was okay. You were the one that made up these idiotic rules, in a large part and in conjunction with cohorts like your relative, Gavin Newsom. And you claim this. Here's video from ABC7. Let's see if it runs of that, of the salon owner going, why is...
owe anyone an apology after she released video of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in her Cow Hollow salon on Monday getting her hair done. Indoor salon services are against San Francisco's health orders. In the clip, Pelosi is not wearing a mask.
The point of releasing this video was and is if a woman in a high-risk age group who spends much of her time on TV warning about the dangers of COVID-19 feels safe and comfortable in a San Francisco salon and can be responsible for being cautious and mindful, why can't the rest of San Francisco and the rest of America do that too?
Kaya said Jonathan DiNardo, who rents a chair from her, made an appointment with Pelosi and that she didn't know about it until Sunday night when DiNardo texted and called her. In statements, DiNardo's attorney confirms claims of a setup and says Kayas has been, quote, almost forcing stylists to work at the salon during the closure. He said this office is in possession of photographs, videos, and witness information that Ms. Kayas, contrary to her prior statements to the press, has actually been operating her business during the stay-at-home orders. Kaya says DiNardo is making false statements. Meanwhile, in Washington, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany played video of Pelosi's hair appointment. And President Trump tweeted, crazy Nancy Pelosi said she was set up by the beauty parlor owner when she improperly had the salon opened and didn't wear a mask. Does anyone want a Speaker of the House who can be so easily set up?
Let us go back to work and stop victimizing us.
And in San Francisco, a group of protesters hung hair dryers in a tree outside Speaker Pelosi's Pacific Heights home and demanded the freedom to go back to salons. DiNardo's lawyer sent me an email that says DiNardo and all the other stylists at the salon have quit and removed all of their belongings. He says DiNardo has been receiving death threats, but stands by his comments. Kate Larson, ABC7 News.
There you go. I mean, now they're trying to claim that she was set up and got people changing
This is a
their
commercial for
stories
Warby Parker glasses.
On the deal. And you look at it, and which side are you going? Nancy Pelosi, who her congressional district is in San Francisco where this took place, which has the order that you cannot do this. So how on God's green earth, even if it was, let's just take the hypothetical that they were trying to set Nancy Pelosi up on this. She's got to be the world's dumbest complete idiot in the position she is in to do this, knowing the rules on top from U.S. to California to San Francisco, where she is a congressional representative, and this is strictly forbidden. You have got to be the world's dumbest idiot to go in and do something like that.
Carla writes in, Nancy is a public figure that also requires her being well-groomed also, which I get her point. She should be. I mean, just like Donald Trump should always look groomed and proper. But why couldn't she have had this lady go to her house? Why wouldn't she? I mean, she has the money. And then do it the proper way.
Again, she could fly to the south of France.
Or do it herself. It's not that hard.
Yes. Do like it. Why? And I disagree 110% with you and Carla. If all of us are subject to these restrictions, then if at a minimum, and this has been the problem all across the board, they pass laws, Pelosi passed laws, and Congress and everybody else, and they exempt themselves. They should have to endure the same things we are enduring on that, and then you'll see, if they had to follow all the rules they make us follow, you would see abrupt changes in a lot of things. But this is, like I've said, this is the height of hypocrisy and arrogance, and if you back that up, then you are supporting it.
Hey.
Yes. There is no reason.
I get your point. I do.
Yes,
Calm down before you hurt yourself. I agree. But salons are opening soon, so why didn't you just wait?
Again,
or like Steven had wrote in, why didn't you just say my bad and not put it as a setup in this whole huge conspiracy? No, you just didn't follow your own rules. Admit that you were wrong, and this wouldn't have been such a big deal.
Yeah, if she just said, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. It was my mistake.
Or we followed protocol.
Yeah, I understand, yes, it does, it looks bad. I shouldn't have done it. I apologize. Let's move on. That would, you're exactly right. That would have been the proper way to handle this. And if she would have said that, I would have said, okay, I might have blasted her a little bit of saying that, but then, okay,
right,
you admit it, we're not going to do it again, fine. Everybody makes mistakes. We can all get a mulligan on this stuff. But to double down on this stuff and then try and hide, or once you got caught, then try and cover it up or blame somebody else for your actions of what you did on top of that. Again, I just can't. The setup line is so, that is beyond weaker than weak.
That is.
And beyond pathetic,
just
really.
admit that you're wrong. And
yes.
You know what's kind of scary is she's like a leader and she can't even admit when she was wrong.
Yes, that now you're cooking on gas.
Is that a good thing? I'm gonna go with yeah.
Yes, and I if we are going to have all these rules that salons are dangerous and hair cutting places and nail salons are the complete dangerous and going to kill us all, then Nancy Pelosi, hair gel, and everybody else should abide by the same rules and standards and protocols as everyone else. I mean, it doesn't matter. As Speaker of the House, if your hair is not 100% pristine, that it really doesn't matter when you put the hammer down and say this bill passes. It has no effect on how good looking you are at the day, or if you look like a complete unadulterated mess or whatever. What you're there to do the people's business. And if this is the way you're trying to set the example of, this is, if you don't do this, all hell's going to break loose, then you should not be the one walking around at the fancy hair salon at the $3,000 haircuts or whatever of doing that, and then trying to hide it, and then when you get caught, trying to blame the people that did it to you.
Carla writes in that she did have distance, and she wants to see the video where she's sitting down. There is no way when someone is doing your hair there is enough distance. You see news reporters with a long pole, they won't even go and pull the microphone, which is so dumb.
Yeah.
Just hold the damn microphone. But anyways, they're following the rules. They have the long pole with the other long pole with the long pole with the camera.
Yeah, would you want somebody cutting your hair with 6 feet away?
Pole?
Yeah, with what's the big hedge clippers? Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, get the big hedge. You put 6-foot handles on the hedge clippers, and we're going to cut your hair.
I mean,
I
will try to find that video for you, though, Carla. Find the video of her sitting down. Do we have it?
Not offhand. No, I haven't. It really doesn't matter what of that. If the spread.
Nori writes in, the point is no one else is allowed to be in the hair salon. Nancy broke the rules.
Yes.
She did, and she needs to admit to that. I, for one, see how her being a public figure, she wants to look good. I mean, we do the show. I want to look good. He's on his own. But I would if I got caught up being a politician. There we go. I would admit I was wrong.
again, I might have gave
Why isn't she getting prosecuted or anything like that?
Exactly.
Or
why isn't the DA charging her with getting an illegal haircut in San Francisco?
Aren't people getting in trouble for doing stuff?
Yes. Look at the Corona barber or hair salon or whatever. The lady, Riverside County is out there putting restraining orders on her and harassing her because she just said, "Screw you guys! I'm opening. We're open. That and sue me or put me in jail."
Right.
Like you say, that woman's got
Joseph writes in, other shops had to pay $15,000 and done jail time.
There you go. Yeah.
I can't talk today.
And it is. That's what I say. If you do that, you're subject to the full extent of the law. The law. If they're coming after her like they're coming out the poor woman in Corona for opening up. Yeah, and but they thought they think they can. This is my point. I say this a lot about this. When I see what I know and what I see, and I see what you're doing, things like this, and I say this to politicians all across the board, what do you think I'm thinking when I'm not watching you?
What are you thinking?
What sort of stuff is going on when we're not watching them?
Yeah.
It's probably 152 times worse.
What are you thinking is going on?
Well, all the stuff.
You think she went and got a waxing?
No, that's why we get all this stupid legislation. That's why our schools are going to hell. That's why we have roads that are going crappy. That's why we cannot have a tailgate party on National Tailgate Day because there's no sporting events to go to a tailgate party at.
I told you, I'll throw the football at you.
Well, you would do that anyway.
Yeah, true. It'd be fun.
Of that. But that's what I say. They're working, like Mason Weaver says, Tom Del McCarl said Tuesday, Tom Del said of that. This is what they're working on behind the scenes and agitating and to get you all irritated, pissed off, that and that, or taking everything away from you. Now you're just hoping you can get one crumb back. I mean, like we said, it's like the Stockholm syndrome. You become to love your captor because you think that's the only way you can survive. And we're getting dangerously close to that. And that's what Mason Weaver writes about on Leave the Plantation, on this stuff all across the board. And you look each and every day on this stuff. And again, it's like, insane what we're going through.
Carla writes in, okay, she did it.
Did you hit the,
No,
you didn't tune us in on the station, did you?
I'm getting to it right now.
Of that. I think that's what Sean is calling, saying, where are we at? But no, it's absolutely crazy of what's going on the deal here is
Totally knew that.
because there you go. We're on the track of, hey, this is what's going
Totally
on.
Roy's fault.
What happened, guys? You guys are on the air, by the way. Here you go.
There we go. Yeah, we're finally on the air. Little snafu.
My bad.
there
My
on that technical stuff. You got to, when I'm talking, I'm going 90-mile-an-hour minutes of that. And that's when I heard my phone ring, I said, and I looked at the clock, and I'm looking over and I'm saying, we're not hooked up on KMET on that.
Moving on.
Of that, but no, it's absolutely crazy.
Thanks, Joseph.
We're on the Mighty Met 1490 as we have the first half hour as we usually start off on Newswire and on Facebook and YouTube on a Funky
Friday.
I forgot again. Already. Twice.
I know.
It's
been a long day.
Oh, well, I'll give you that part
Thank
of
you.
it. Yeah, and it's supposed to get, say you mentioned that. Actually.
Don't even frickin' say it.
No, actually, L.A. and the LA Basin is going, actually, they're going to be as hot, the forecast is, they're going to be like 105, 110 like we are out here tomorrow. It's actually going to be that hot. Supposedly, because obviously, usually, normally, not always, usually, normally, as you get closer to the coast, the temperature goes down.
Right.
Well, according to this weekend, or according to the forecast, Saturday and Sunday, man, I guess unless you're, well, can you go without them harassing you? Well, I know the LA beaches are still closed. Maybe you can go on the Orange County ones a little bit if they haven't taken that off.
I thought beaches were open.
I don't think they are in LA County. The Orange County ones might be, but I don't think LA County beach is on. But I'm thinking unless you're, and the beaches will probably be 80, 85, or 90 tomorrow. But once you get probably 3 blocks in or so, it's supposed to be a pressure cooker firecracker weekend.
When?
Saturday and Sunday.
Why?
Well, I don't know. That's just the way the weather works.
Why are you telling me?
Well, you mentioned that all you got to do is say some sort of word, and it's liable to trigger me off in any sort of direction.
It's so hot.
Of going on.
I want to hear that right now.
On that, but no, we talked about Michael Reinhold, the suspect who shot the Trump supporter, was gunned down by U.S. Marshals in around, I think, Lacey, Washington, which is in the Olympia area by that today. He had a handgun with him on that. So far, authorities have confirmed on that. They did not say whether he fired back at them or that, but they did recover a loaded weapon from the Yahoo on that. But we read and I'm not going to reread the whole deal again. But here's a flip up for. There's a free shot of Michael Reinhold. But the Olympian, the main newspaper around Washington where this started off with something to the effect of U.S. Marshals gunned down right-wing activists, gunned down the man who shot a right-wing activist in Portland, Oregon on Saturday. Instead of how it should have been read was the federal U.S. Marshal's office shot and killed the suspect, shooting of the suspect of a Trump supporter in Portland, Oregon. These are the little nuances that we're getting barraged with every day. And it's called incrementalism. You know, they slowly suck you into this or doing that. And we talk about news reporting and that, and even in the heyday of let's say the 60s or 70s, when you had the big 3 networks, CBS, NBC, and CBS, NBC, and ABC, I guess I should say. You know, the New York Times, the LA Times, the Chicago Tribune were like main national newspapers, but they were on coast, middle America and that. But, I mean, they did news reporting. News reporting would be, you know, the Trump supporter shot Saturday night in Portland, Oregon the suspect was gunned down by U.S. Marshals in Lacey, Washington, early Friday morning. The suspect was found with a but they got to put right-wing activists in there.
Now, I'm telling you, it makes me feel like a freaking chicken wing or a bird.
But let's say it was a Joe Biden supporter that was shot, and of that,
I wonder how that would be titled.
Yes. Do you think it would be left-wing activists?
People watching, type in on Facebook or YouTube and tell us what you think that title would be.
It would not be left-wing activist, of that. If the, it should have been, left-wing Antifa member suspect. Now that would have been accurate because this guy had been raising, Cain he'd been caught, let go, I believe, if I remember correctly. They released him in Oregon about a month ago because he was walking around with loaded weapons and this stuff. He's been agitating the whole situation of this going on, if I've got the right guy. But they're doing this. But no, if you were going to put the commentary on and be correct, you would have said, complete left-wing loon kook and agitator Michael Reinhold, who was let go when the authorities had them with the gun laws. And that's what I say. Again, let's get back into the whole question of your right to keep and bear arms. And people say, well, why do you need this, or why do you need that, or you just passed this law so the violence will stop and nobody will be killed and yada, yada, yada. Well, this guy, if I've got the right guy, he was caught with a loaded weapon, and it was him or somebody with with that, caught with a loaded weapon, agitating this, and caught, arrested and released. No prosecution, no nothing.
And there you go.
No charges. The DA did not file any charges or anything else. So we had a law that should have had this guy at least arrested, charged, under bail, under surveillance, anything else. No, he was back out walking the street, and he goes and shoots a Trump supporter who was marching, who the Trump supporters were marching peacefully in Portland, Oregon, and it was the Antifa left-wing kooks that were throwing, hurling, pepper spraying, or whatever was going on up there at the Trump supporters as they were driving in their pick-em-up trucks, probably having a tailgate, or, what semblance of a tailgate party they could have, supporting Trump in that area and trying to restore law and order back to Portland, Oregon, and this mess happens.
Again, I feel for Oregon. I mean, it's just nonstop out there. And out here, too, but it seems like Oregon's been on the radar for a while.
Well, they've been letting this go the longest.
Right.
I mean, what are we going on, like 3 months? They've been letting these Antifa a-holes run rampant over there. And like this guy, catch and release. And, and again, like we talked about in the first half hour, the arrogant-ass mayor up there, I think Brewer is his name, now the Antifa people are turning on him that he was protecting or backing the cops off of and not letting them do anything, where the federal marshals had to go in and protect the federal courthouses because they were burning, looting, and destroying our property because each and every one of us contributed to that. All of us citizens, tax-paying citizens of the United States of America, that's all of our money that was keeping those federal courts going and built them or leased them or what. They were destroying our federal property, and that jackass let them do it. The federal marshals had to go in and stop it. At least they had the authority. Trump had the authority to go in because they were destroying federal property.
Right.
So he was doing that. But it is more curious that U.S. Marshals tracked this guy down from Oregon to Washington and doing that. What's
Carla,
that?
I love you. Okay, so Joseph writes in, the mayor is a pillow biter. Carla writes in, catch and release was just to avoid COVID cases in jail.
Baloney.
Why? Okay, but why the hell do we care if anybody in jail gets COVID cases?
Yeah.
Inmates? Really? We're worried about inmates and their health? I love you, Carla.
We've been kicking them out by the gazillions in California.
Carla also writes in, and she has a point to this. I'm just over all this BS during Trump. I can't watch, and I did not hear so much during President Bush. Because people are complaining about everything. And they're not supporting your president. I don't see why people are mad at him. People weren't complaining about Twitter. You guys are complaining about Twitter and tweets. Was anyone talking about Bill Clinton when he was getting a BJ in the Oval Office? I mean, did that go anywhere, or did we just kind of brush that by?
Well, yeah, I think that's a great point. That was probably.
But look at what the problems were then to what we're complaining about now. We're complaining about tweets.
And I wasn't red hot about the Republicans at the time and Newt Gingrich going across Bill Clinton, other than the hypocrisy. The only thing that I was concerned about was the hypocrisy of if any other government employee was doing the exact same thing as Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, it would be a crime, sexual harassment, yada, yada, yada. But because, again, the arrogance of power that you can do that because you're president and you're exempt from that law is the height of hypocrisy. Now, whether he could do it or not, he shouldn't have been doing it because that's not what you should be doing in the Oval Office. If you want to go down to the no-tell motel and do that, fine and dandy, I don't care. But that should not be going on in our public facilities.
Right.
And that was the only problem I had. I thought it was a way overreach trying to impeach him over it and going through that. But I kind of think that showed that kind of knocked off a lot of that stuff at the time because it didn't go anywhere. It was kind of like the Trump impeachment was going on. But
I think he could have done it in an honest way. Being president, you would think he would have enough respect for his wife to do that, but then he's probably terrified of her.
Well, yeah, if I was
Carla writes in that she is
Hillary
stressed.
Clinton, I'd be terrified of that witch too.
That she is stressed and she needs a Snickers.
But this is what I don't understand about.
You should really go for Reese's.
I love Carla too, but this is what I don't understand. Why can't you see that it is the center left of that crowd, establishment crowd, center to the right establishment crowd, entrenched politicians that have done this to us? You can't support. I don't care if you think Trump is an a-hole to the maximum. He has probably, in my lifetime, been, and even more than Reagan was probably up to this point, the most that did try to stick to the Constitution and the federal rule and try and do what's best for all of us. And not masking that. Joe Biden, the one you got your little logo on there of that, said Trump was a racist when he put the China travel ban, and now even Joe Biden, Fauci, and everybody else said that was probably the single best thing we ever did to fight COVID. Not one of you, I want to see when you said, thank you, Donald Trump, for doing that, and shame on you, Joe Biden, for trying to kill us and trying to make a racist deal out of something that Trump was trying to do to protect us. Answer me that. Whether you think, and again, you might think he's the biggest ingrate that ever walked the frickin' earth, and I don't really care. I don't care if any of them are. As long as they're doing right when they're sitting in and making the policy and doing the work of the people, I don't care what their personality is. We had a deal of that going in Moreno Valley.
Totally agree.
We had Mayor Tom Owings. And I will tell you this. He's the one guy that had this stuff halfway figured out. I will tell you this story. I haven't told this in a while. Maybe I haven't told the complete story. Tom Owings gets elected mayor. My dad, a few of us, were up there. We were regulars at the city council meetings and stuff. And Tom Owings comes blowing into the scene, the political scene, like 6 months, gets elected council, gets appointed mayor. So all of a sudden, I'm getting calls from Chief Financial Officer Rick Tykert, Public Works Amon Asari, and other officials. And they're well, we want to meet with you and talk about. This had never happened. Never in my career that I can remember this ever happening. Of them wanting to know what I thought or wanting to talk about it or explain this stuff. So I'm going through all this and yada, 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 yada. And after couple years, because Tom Owings was a Trump-like personality, he didn't give a crap what or how he said it. He just said it the way he thought it. And you know who you are out there. A bunch of, I'm going to call them old biddies were out there, didn't like it because he didn't talk nice to them and kiss their ass, and they led up the charge to recall him. But after he was recalled, and I talked to him, and I really didn't talk a lot to him other than at the public meetings and stuff during while he was in office, but I talked to him a lot after he got recalled. And he said, you told me a lot of stuff up to the campaign or when I was campaigning and what was going on. And I said, I'm thinking, who is this guy? He's coming up and, is the stuff he's saying, the numbers he's coming up with, are they right or something? So I'm going in and on this, and one thing that I said, and he'd gotten elected in November, and we're up at like a semi-public meeting or some gathering with a lot of people. That this is in between before he swore in. He says, they're telling me that we're like a 20 million. We got $20 million in reserves, or we got $40 million in reserves. Yada yada yada. And I said, technically they do. I said, probably about 20 to 25 million of it they can't touch because it's like in retirement funds or anything. I said, we got about, maybe, if you're lucky and pencil it hard and work every angle, maybe you have $20 million in reserves. And I said, if you lose the case, of the Nason Street Bridge, and that's a long story. I said, Moreno Valley's bankrupt. That's when they took the money from the library and stuff and they maneuvered it around and got it to where they were doing that, because we were in big, deep trouble. Along with financially, the house is collapsing. This is in the 2014 area, right at where the depths are coming out of the, or 2012, I should say, right when we're in the depths of the recession, the last one.
Right.
That, and everybody's, a lot of people, are out of work. Budgets are hemorrhaging red ink all over the place, especially public, private sector, and everybody else. So he said, he said, no. They're telling me that isn't correct. You're wrong. Blah, 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 blah. He said, after he was recalled and that, I was talking to him, and he said, I'm the one that called all those meetings them guys were doing. And I said, this is now making more sense. I said, well, why did you do it? He said, because they would come in and say, you were wrong, you didn't know what you were talking about, or try and sugarcoat me. But he said in not one instance could they refute anything you said. He said, that's when I started believing you.
Right.
And he said, that's when I started going back at them, because I was making them answer or telling them, this is what he's saying, now this is what I'm seeing, now prove me wrong. And they couldn't. You know what that saved you? That probably saved you a 1% sales tax, because they had Tom Owings convinced that the only way out of this was a 1% sales tax in Moreno Valley. And Tom Owings was going to sign on to it. And he said, but you know why I didn't? He said, because you kept coming back up there and saying, no, you don't need to do it. If you do this X, Y, and Z, you can get out of this thing.
Right.
And they did. And we didn't have to have a tax increase or something. So this is why I say, when you look at this stuff, and you do, like I say, I know what I know. Obviously, I'm the 100% expert on myself. But, and that's why I say, when I know what I know, and I know what I see, and I know you're trying to blow me a bullshit story, excuse me, of that, I apologize for the language, but it gets to the point of that. When they're doing this, and they do this all the time to us, they come back, and they do this, and they try to do that. 98.7, and that's probably a low percentage, they get away with this crap. And it takes a personality type, like a Donald Trump, at the national level.
Bold.
Or a Tom Owings at your local level to straighten this crap out. Now, they might not be the best guy for a long-term solution because they go in and kick ass and take names. But to straighten it out, it takes that type of personality to do it.
Right.
And it's a lot of times it's not going to be pretty. A lot of times they're going to have to do things that are not, that are very tough decisions. And they're going to have to do them swiftly and stuff. But in the end, you're going to see what it, the end result is going to work out fine. And as one, and this isn't, I'll end my rant on this because we're getting close to the end of the show. But like I say, we're in there with the...
I want to get to the chicken wing.
With some of the old ones in there that were saying that we're doing the recall, and while it was going on, I said, you're going to rue the day that you recall Tom Owings. And I've had more than one of them come back and say, yes, it was. We shouldn't have done it.
I've heard that. Same statement.
Let me find the... we had... what Christensen was his name. His dad's actually on the city council. We ran the clip of, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I think of that, where he had the boneless. Great story. I mean,
it was
went
so
viral.
Cute.
Yeah, his 2-minute deal on boneless chicken. And it was so, I mean, the point, if you get the nuances of his point, he's explaining exactly what's going wrong in our country, in a lot of places on that. But he was using it in the framework of the absurd thing of boneless chicken wings of that he did. But I got to give Buffalo Chicken Wings props from that. Here's the story out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Bone-in chicken wing champion to receive free wings from a year. This is in what? Oh, the Nebraska News. Lincoln, Nebraska, KLKN. Following Andrew Christensen's passionate call to end the lies and to stop calling boneless chicken wings, Buffalo Wild Wings responded. Although the wings-based change originally commissioned a wanted poster into response to Christian's claims, a BWW decided to extend an olive branch. BWW spokesperson said, "We serve boneless wings and we love them. So while we disagree with Andrew on his mission, we respect his passion for chicken. So this Labor Day, in our sports bars in Lincoln, Nebraska, we will donate $1 for every boneless chicken wing sold to local Boys and Girls Club. Oh, and Andrew gets free traditional wings for a year on us."
Wow, for a year?
For a year. He gets boneless chicken wings. And I think even more important, Buffalo Wild Wings is going to donate over this Labor Day weekend $1 for every chicken wings sold to the Boys and Girls Club. So on top of the absurdity he was using to point out the conditions we've all been disclaiming we've listened in, I think it's well deserved that he gets free traditional wings from them for a year.
Nori writes in, well said, it takes a strong person to sort out this mess. And Carla writes in, don't forget about the Kentucky Derby this weekend.
Are they running it?
I think she got her Snickers because she's in a better mood.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that one calms you down, fine. But are they going to have fans in the stands?
No.
Well, yeah.
Are they going to allow
no tailgate parties?
What about the horse and
the
rider
jockey?
contact?
Yeah. What if they're running side by side and they're not 6 feet apart?
All right. Well, that was a fun little rant.
Yes, I mean that's absurd. Like Arn Christensen pointed out about the wild, the boneless chicken wings. There is no such thing as a boneless chicken wing.
Don't ruin it.
This is how absurd we've been getting on this whole...
So you want them to call them chicken nuggets?
Chicken tenders? That's what Anders said. I
don't like that they call them chicken tenders, because then I feel like I'm eating like a tender, like a tendon. I say chicken strips, because I like my chickens to strip.
Well, don't order...
I'm just kidding.
Don't order chicken tenders, then. Don't take away somebody else's fun.
I totally got a mental picture of a chicken on a pole.
Pole dancing by chickens. Monday on Newswire. Tune in live at 5. That ought to stir something up.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cute.
Yeah, it would be.
Anyways.
Maybe we should make an animated video of that.
Okay, I know what I'm doing this weekend now.
Yeah. Of that, on that.
Steven writes in the Kentucky Derby used to be in May.
Yes, like the Indianapolis 500 and everything. 2020 is just, I know you flush it down the toilet.
I'm going to turn off on my outro music, too.
You just love listening to me so much, you just get so caught up.
I know.
With it.
And you know what? It was the comments today. You're at 6 seconds, buddy.
At
4 seconds.
So, until Monday.
Go tailgate. We're done.